Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today's going to be a news-heavy video, and I've got a lot of it for you guys today. We're going to start out with a little bit of drama maybe on Reddit pertaining to a very critical post that somebody made about kind of the state of the game. And then the community managers went in and started to respond to this person, and they got downvoted in mass. So after that, there was a Q&A on Reddit, and then the Supercell team fielded a bunch of questions and gave out a bunch of different information about next season, including new card, changes to existing cards, and some changes to the Royale Pass, or the Pass Royale, to benefit free-to-play players even more. So we're going to talk about all of that in today's video, so let's go ahead and just jump into it.
Just like I thought, they were in the same spot, in need of some desperate help.
Alright, so welcome to the main video, guys. Now, I'm going to include timestamps in the pinned comment below because I could get kind of caught in the weeds here and there, but I want to make this kind of a more conversational video. So again, if you're just looking for the changes to the new cards, just go ahead and feel free to check out the pinned comment, the first comment on this video, and I'll have kind of timestamps where we talk about everything. But I wanted to start with this post because this was the post by user iDetroy that kind of started the whole conversation here. He titled it "The Current State of the Game," and he went through and he kind of talked about a bunch of the things that he was unsatisfied with inside the game right now. So throughout this post and Drew's response, I'll kind of interject my own opinion, and then we'll get to the new stuff after this. So he goes through Pass Royale. He said, "It's nice, but it's not the new feature we were hoping for." I think that I can kind of agree and get on board with that. I would like to see it a little bit more fleshed out, kind of like Clash of Clans. And then he goes on, one new arena and one new card. He said basically, you know, it's just not enough, and it's difficult for free-to-play players and non-big spenders to even level up these cards until months, if not years, after the fact. And then he goes on to new game modes. And again, guys, the link, if you want to read along, will be in the show notes in the description of this video as well. But he goes on here to mention the game modes, that whatever happened to touchdown mode is one of his questions here. He said, "You literally hyped up the touchdown mode as one of the biggest features in Clash Royale, only to have it active for like 3 days at a special challenge you couldn't even repeat, and then it simply vanished for a month plus." I think that's valid criticism as well. You know, a lot of the updates are hyping these new challenges, these new features, these new ways to play the game. And then they're really just these very, very brief special challenges. Not to say that touchdown mode is one of those, but I am seeing that more and more often on the team, and apparently people must like that because they do keep doing it, right? But me personally, I would much rather see that one big new feature, brand new feature that is really just persistent throughout the game, rather than coming once and then disappearing for a long time. And I'm going to speak more about the disappearing for a long time in just a little bit here. Not game modes either. So weekly communication topics. This one, again, I can get on board with. He talks about the frequency of communication by Supercell, which was high for a while there, then it dipped down. And basically he said that they no longer do the, you know how, even if you don't visit Reddit, right, which is the majority of you guys, I assume, right? They had this like touch base thing that they did, a weekly kind of update, what the team is working on. They no longer do that anymore, and I was kind of bummed out about that as well, and we'll get more on that in a second. And then he goes on to point number 3, the ban policy regarding account sharing and win trading. Battle Pass Trophy Road and tournament changes. He goes on to basically pick out a few things about Battle Pass Trophy Road, things that he would like to change, star levels as well. Global tournaments, he talks about the frequency of global tournaments, how they have gone down and down and down, and I agree with that too. I love global tournaments. I would like one once a week. I don't know if that's too excessive for more casual players, especially if they're in clan wars, but I don't know. I like global tournaments a lot, and I would like them to be a little bit more frequent personally. How do you guys feel about global tournaments? Let me know. Anyway, these are the responses that Drew kind of got killed in, the community manager. You can see like -25 downvotes on this comment here, for example. His response to the weekly communication topics. Basically, in a nutshell, he says, "You know what, guys? If I don't have anything super meaningful to report to the community with, then why bother? Because I'll just be criticized for sharing nothing, for writing a little fluff piece, for example, which he has, according to him in the past, been criticized for." And I would respectfully disagree with that point of view, you know. Personally, I love having a really open line of communication with the dev team or the community managers for a game, you know. I like, even if they don't have a lot for us necessarily one week, just touch base, say, hey, here's what we're working on. ETA, the next update should be in a month or two, whatever, you know, and just kind of giving us a little nugget here and there, and answering tough questions, you know. And speaking of tough questions, and I'll wrap this up in just a second here, but speaking of tough questions, these aren't that tough, right? But, you know, why not just answer some popular questions? For example, the whole boss bots thing. Did any of you guys know about this? Basically, the Twitch streamer Boss, he mentioned that he thinks there's bots, B-O-T-S, on ladder, right? And he actually has a very compelling video kind of illustrating that. I might do a longer video with him on that topic. But essentially, you know, it'd be cool to just find out what's the deal. Are there bots in the game on ladder? Are there computer-run accounts that give out free wins? Or aren't they? And number two, another question is like, what's the deal with Gem Rush? Why don't they ever do Gem Rush anymore? Is it the team just decided that it didn't make sense fiscally, didn't make sense for the economy? Why aren't emotes available for gems? Why isn't Battle Pass available for gems? Those tough questions, you know, even if the answer is something that we don't want to hear, you know, because frankly, gems were becoming way too abundant in the game, and it was really taking away from our bottom line. You know, that's tough to say, but I think if they just said it, I think people, maybe they'd respond negatively. Of course they would, right? But still, it's just the conversation's done, you know? And there's never these lingering questions, and it leads to more like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So me personally, you know, and it's just my, you know, who am I, right? I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a talking head here on YouTube. But I think I would prefer them just to be honest, even if the answers aren't something that we really want to hear. Anyway, guys, that's the critical post. You can go on. Drew had a bunch of responses, and the community kind of got on him on some things. On other things, they were very well received. But again, those links will be down below. Now I kind of want to get into the new stuff because there's a lot of it. So here we go. Alright guys, now for the exciting part of the video, right, where we get to actually all the new stuff and all the new information that we have here. Starting with, and by the way, huge props to the Supercell team, to Drew and Seth for doing this AMA, because honestly, I mean, I was a little bit critical in the first half of this video, but this is exactly what we love. You know, at least I love stuff like this. Even, again, if the answers aren't what we want to hear, it's cool to have this dialogue with the team, right? So anyway, huge props to them for doing this, and they start by talking about the Executioner rework and the Fisherman rework. So Executioner, damage increased a lot in all caps, range reduced a moderate amount, hit speed reduced a little bit, and health reduced a tiny bit. Now the problem is they go on to say the Executioner has a lot of overlaps with the Wizard, but the thing I see, first of all, surface value in a vacuum, I think this could be a really cool change. I'm in favor of it. I think the Executioner is, the use rates of him are very, very low right now. But if you make him, it sounds like he'll now overlap the Hunter kind of a bit. You know, I guess the point blank range of the Hunter is still a benefit, but it sounds like he's going to have a very short range and do a lot of damage. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the Executioner rework? Fisherman, hitting air troops. Man, this is going to be a big one. I think that Fisherman will probably be viable, although I mentioned this in a video the other day, but could it potentially make him worse if he's pulling like minions in all the time? He's so easily distracted. I'm not sure. I almost feel like that's the issue with Fisherman, is if you make him target air, I'm not going to go as far as saying he'll be OP or meta. I still think he might be very easily countered with swarm units. That actually, you know, like he is right now with skeletons or goblins, it kind of gets in the way. I don't know. What do you guys think about that potential rework on Fisherman? So those are two reworks. Now I want to go ahead and just visit Twitter here real quick, guys. And I want to give a huge shout out to a YouTuber who I don't mention enough, honestly. He is Legendary, or Legendary Ray as I call him, and he puts out all kinds of news videos, and I was gonna go ahead and just stay on Reddit here, but I decided, you know what? Legendary Ray just put out this tweet the other day that had everything surmised beautifully. So follow him on Twitter, guys. He's a great guy to follow. You can see his handle here. You can also find him in the show notes below, and you should also subscribe to his YouTube channel. But check it out here, guys. This is the post. I better like it, too, if I'm going to feature it on my YouTube channel. He goes, everything we learned from the Supercell dev discussion, please note that none of this is confirmed. And that's an important note here. None of these changes are 100%. Just everything they talked about in the rest of this Q&A, right? So the executioner we already talked about, fisherman we already talked about. Then later on in the comments, they went to talk about Zap Ease. And they said that Zap Ease will be reworked eventually to have a faster first attack and better at splitting lanes. Very interesting. I'm all in favor of Zap Ease rework, so I get the old Ash stamp of approval on this one. Golem, basically, he says the exact quote here. This is beautiful. They said the Golem strength of beatdown should come from support troops, not from an unsupported tank. What does that mean? It means that they're going to decrease the death damage of the Golem, and I think that's very interesting. I hope it's not a straight-out decrease of the death damage. I hope it's not just a straight-out nerf, even though I imagine the majority of you guys think that's probably justified. I like Golem being somewhat strong inside the meta, dare I say that, so I hope they give him maybe a little bit more health in exchange for less death damage, because it does feel rather unorthodox that sometimes the Golem's death is doing the majority of the damage to a tower, right? That doesn't seem right. He just should be a huge tank that the support troops do most of the heavy lifting in terms of the damage. So I agree with that one as well. Pekka, this is interesting. If Pekka use rates keep trending up, which they have since this AMA, they might do a small health nerf again, or change her range from long to medium. This is very interesting. They've kind of opened up a little bit of a can of worms here with the Pekka. They made her a little bit stronger, a lower skill cap, weaker in some situations. Overall, we had Tag on the channel yesterday. He said people are overreacting to the strength of the new Pekka, and she's not as OP, as people think. I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. I think she is a little bit better, actually, personally. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think about Pekka. But I'm not sure if I'd like to see her nerfed again, although that range does seem, it just seems wrong that she has the range of a prince, you know? So I guess I wouldn't be super upset if they changed the range from long to medium. I don't know if I want another health nerf, though. What do you guys think about Pekka? Furnace. Balance team goes back and forth on whether or not a nerf is needed to the Furnace. Health reduction equals a poison buff and challenging change. So they're not sure about Furnace. You know, what do you guys... me personally, Furnace can be super annoying, but I'm actually going to proceed with caution here and say it does not need a nerf. I know that's probably going to be an unpopular opinion here, but you guys know me, not afraid to be unpopular. New card? New card coming, guys. It's going to be a fun design, a unique mechanic, but this is like the biggest takeaway from this video, right? Opens up new archetypes. What? Now, I don't want to overhype this, right? We talked about overhyping earlier this video. But man, we need a new win condition, at least in my opinion. We need something. I like a lot of new cards being added to the game, as long as they're compelling and unique and interesting and adding something to the game, not adding something that already exists. I don't like the redundancy of cards, like another support troop that's like the Executioner and the Wizard. No, we don't need it. We already have plenty of that. But something brand new, please. How about some brand new unique spells? You know, like really unique spells. There's a million ideas. You guys have heard my Cannibalize idea. I'm still waiting for the Cannibalize idea. For those of you who haven't heard it, it's basically a 0 elixir card. 0 elixir. It does damage to your lowest health tower, and it gives you 1 elixir. It's like a cycle card. It's really powerful, but it does damage to your own tower in exchange for elixir. It's kind of like a cool beatdown type card. Anyway, it would be fine-tuned and it would have to do enough damage and blah, 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 but I think it's kind of a cool idea. Anyway, Paladin. Scrapped a prototype troop of the Paladin. Casted heal on himself every time he attacked. Why'd they scrap the idea? Heal, delete it. Replace it with Paladin, right? No? I like the idea of a Paladin card. I don't like the idea of a heal spell. I like the idea of a heal troop, honestly. Or how about like an AoE heal troop? that's really fragile, kind of like a healer in Clash of Clans. I think the idea of experimenting with a little bit of outside-the-box cards like that would be compelling to me. Anyway, Clan Wars. This is an interesting one, too. Needs more than surface-level fixes, big plans to revamp Clan Wars, but unfortunately not in the next update. So, that sucks that it's not going to come next update, but it's not the feature that they want it to be right now. They said in the AMA, and they said they have big plans to rework Clan Wars entirely. So that's really encouraging news. I know a lot of you guys ask me about Clan Wars a lot. And then last but not least, this is interesting. Season 3 of Royale Pass Royale, I always get it wrong, is going to come with some changes to the free-to-play. Plans to improve the free track for free-to-play players. Thank you, right? I like that update overall. I just feel like for free-to-play players, there was a lack of substance in it. You know, life is a little bit better for free-to-play players. They get a little bit more crown chests. You know, there could be some tweaks to improve it, but overall, they get a guaranteed legendary chest and more crown chests. You can't really complain about that. So people who say the last update was worse for free-to-play players, I just don't understand it. It was better, but it wasn't much, right? I think there was a lack of content for free-to-play players more than anything. Anyway, they're going to improve the free-to-play track. Sounds good to me, right? Sounds good to me. And then, legendary chests will likely return in the 35 spot for more strikes. Thank you very much. Nice to see they will likely bring that legendary chest back. So that's all we have, guys. A lot of news, a new card, a lot of changes to existing cards, changes to major features inside the game. One thing they didn't mention is the addition of any new features inside the game. So, hey, we will go ahead and see if that happens in the future. Another huge shout out to Legendary Ray. I'll include his YouTube channel in the comments below. He's the guy you want to subscribe to for up-to-date news on everything Clash Royale. So go ahead and do that right now because this video is about over. It's taken, I knew I was going to get long-winded in this video, guys. I apologize. Let me know if you like a long video like this where I share my opinions and I talk about the state of the game and I kind of use some information from Reddit. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Always looking for your feedback because if you don't like it, I won't do it anymore, honestly, because I know it's a bit of a long video. But anyway, guys, here I am rambling again, right? I just can't end the video, dude. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to Stats Royale and to Bren Chong, my YouTube partners. Check out their information in the description below. Thanks, and as always, take care, guys.